2025 was a solid year for gaming, both creatively and commercially. We saw a great range of new releases, and the industry reached close to $200 billion in revenue, representing a 7.5% increase year over year. Despite these great results, 2026 is aiming to be a year of consolidation, with the industry still dealing with the effects of an oversaturated market, rising costs, and layoffs, only to name a few. On top of this, a number of forces have emerged and are now shaping most of the conversations happening across the industry. They are 5 in total, and in today's video, I want to go through them one by one, sharing why they matter and how they may influence where games are headed next. Hi everyone, as usual my name is Alex, and before we dive in, I just wanted to remind you that if you like the content that I'm putting out, to please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel, as it really helps the content reach a wider audience. And now that that's out of the way, let's get into today's topic. Force number 1, Generative AI. Generative AI is quickly becoming unavoidable in game development. Today, it is being used to support prototyping, localization, testing, and iteration. Beyond efficiency, there is also a growing interest in how it could enable more reactive systems, from smarter NPCs to new forms of emergent gameplay. But there is also a wider implication. If development becomes faster and cheaper, more games are able to enter the market, which puts even more pressure on discoverability and curation. At the same time, AI remains deeply controversial, and we have already seen backlash turn into concrete consequences. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 lost an industry award after concerns were raised around its use of AI. Larian Studios also stepped back from using AI for concept art after public criticism. This creates a real tension for studios. Games are expensive and risky to make, and when the tools themselves become a source of controversy, teams often become more cautious rather than more creative. In 2026, the challenge around AI will be less about what it can do and more about how it is used, communicated, and ultimately trusted. Force number 2, user-generated content. User-generated content has evolved into a vibrant and rapidly growing creator economy, with recent technological advances dramatically lowering barriers to entry. Roblox and Fortnite, despite taking very different approaches, have together paid out well over $1 billion to creators in 2025 alone. Roblox's ecosystem is largely driven by younger players and grassroots creation. It functions less like a traditional game platform and more like a broad creator economy, built around social play and commerce. Fortnite targets a slightly older audience and takes a more curated approach, blending creator-made content with large-scale, brand-driven experiences built around well-known IP. The importance of creators within the Fortnite ecosystem has increased significantly, with new monetization options, revenue-sharing models, and discovery tools introduced in December. As examples, creators can now sell durable and consumable goods from their islands and will receive a full ad revenue share on their creations for a year. Together, these platforms point to a future where games behave more like ecosystems rather than standalone products. In 2026, user-generated content will increasingly influence engagement, retention, and who truly owns the player relationship. Force number 3, cloud gaming. For a long time, cloud gaming was seen as a promise that never quite delivered, but that perception is starting to change. Infrastructure improvements have made cloud gaming viable for a growing number of players, not as a replacement for traditional hardware, but as a complement to it. And we can see this reflected in industry strategy. Xbox continues to push a device-agnostic ecosystem. Valve is experimenting again with living room hardware alongside the Steam Deck. And PlayStation is exploring broader platform strategies and companion devices. The console war has ended. What matters more now is ecosystem reach. For developers, cloud gaming reduces friction. Players can jump in without downloads, move between devices, and receive updates seamlessly. Teams benefit from faster iteration, unified patching, and more controlled rollouts. In 2026, cloud gaming will quietly influence how games are built and distributed, even if players do not always notice it. Force number 4, the opening up of app stores. The mobile app store model is beginning to loosen up. Regulatory pressure in Europe and legal rulings in the United States are forcing traditionally closed platforms like the App Store to allow more flexibility around payments and distribution. Developers now have more options. They can handle payments directly while still using existing storefronts. They can use cloud streaming to deliver games without relying entirely on native mobile apps. In some cases, they can even explore launching independent app stores, enabled by new regulation. These shifts are not just about reducing fees. In 2026, the opening of app stores is really about control. Control over pricing, data, monetization models, and long-term player relationships. Force number 5, the rise of lean studios. Some of the most impactful games of 2025 came from small, highly focused teams. Titles like Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Hollow Knight Silksong, Blueprints, Hades 2, Dispatch, and Split Fiction are all a reflex of a broader recalibration. But that doesn't necessarily mean a rejection of AAA. Large-scale games will continue to matter. However, budget size alone is no longer a reliable indicator of success. Increasingly, impact comes from disciplined scope, clear creative vision, and strong studio identity. In 2026, lean teams are not just surviving. They are influencing expectations across the industry. And now, a bonus topic that is impossible to ignore. Grand Theft Auto 6. Few games carry the cultural and economic weight of GTA. Whether Rockstar's next release launches this year or slips again, its impact will be felt across the entire industry. A release would dominate attention, marketing spend, and player time. Another delay would extend uncertainty and complicate planning for studios targeting the same window. Either way, its influence goes far beyond a single franchise. In short, 2026 is shaping up to be a year of cautious optimism. Growth has returned, but the industry is far more aware of its limits and risks. New tools, shifting power structures, and changing player expectations are forcing harder choices. The studios and platforms that succeed will not simply be the biggest. They will be the ones that understand these forces clearly and act with intention. Did I leave anything out? If yes, let me hear about it in the comments. And if you have strong opinions on how these topics are affecting your studio or the games you play, I would love to hear about them too. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay happy and keep gaming.